Now let's look at converting other units of time. We're going to look at what these units are, and then we're going to convert from smaller to larger units, and also from larger to smaller units. So the units we'll focus on in this lesson are the day, week, month, year, decade, and millennium. So our conversion rate are as follows. We have 24 hours in a day. We have 7 days in a week. We have 4 weeks in a month, 12 months in a year. We also have 52 weeks in a year. And we have 10 years in a decade and 100 decades in a millennium. We also have 1,000 years. 1,000 years in 1 millennium. That's something to note. So now let's go ahead and walk through some conversions. How many weeks are there in 3.5 days? So we know that 7 days make 1 week. So we're going to use our ratio here. So we have weeks, week to day ratio. We have 1 week, and in there we have 7 days. So using our equal ratio approach, we have x to 3.5. So now we'll create our fraction. 1 over 7 is equal to x over 3.5. So we'll now use our cross product here. Cross product, which means we have 7 multiplied by x is equal to 3.5 multiplied by 1. So 7x is equal to 3.5. So one thing we can do here is to convert 3.5 to improper fraction. So 7x is equal to 7 over 2. Now we divide both sides by 7. So we have x is equal to 7 over 2 divided by 7 over 1. So now we have 7 over 2 times 1 over 7. So the 7 crosses out. So x is equal to 1/2. Or we can say 0.5. So 3.5 days is equal to a half week, or 0.5 of a week. How many years are there in 39 weeks? So we know that we have 52 weeks in 1 year. So what that means for us is that we have years to weeks as our ratio. So years is 1, we have 52 weeks. So now we'll create an equal ratio here. We have x to 39. So now if you notice, what I'm doing here is the variable or the unit we're trying to find, I'm using that on the left hand side of my ratio, just so that it's easy to see the relationship. So now we're going to create our fractional relationship. It's equal to x over 39. And so we're going to cross product this now. Okay, so now we have 52 times x is equal to 1 times 39. Now we can divide both sides by 52. And 52 crosses itself out. Now we have 39 and 52. Let's see, we can have our common factor here is 13. So this is going to give us 3 over 4. So x is equal to 3 over 4, or 0.75. If you need some help trying to understand this conversion, there's a topic that focuses just on converting fractions to decimals. So what this means is that 39 weeks is equal to 3/4 of a year, or 0.75 of a year. How many decades are there in 15 years? So we have 10 years make up 1 decade. So our ratio here is decades to years. Let's stay consistent. So we have decade to year. So we have 1 decade, we have 10 years. So here we create an equal ratio is x to 15. So now we're going to create our fractional relationship. 1/10 equal to x over 15. And we can cross product this now. And that will give us 10 multiplied by x equal to 1 multiplied by 15. Divide by 10, divide by 10. So this crosses out. 15 and 10, you can divide both by 5. You have 2 here, you have 3. So x is equal to 3/2, or maybe 1.5. So 15 years is equal to 3/2 decades, or 1.5 decades. So how many weeks are there in 7 months? We know that there are 4 weeks in 1 month. So how many weeks are there in 7 months? So we'll create our ratio, weeks to months. So we have a ratio of 4 weeks in 1 month. This is equal to x to 7. And now let's create a fractional relationship. 4/1 is equal to x over 7. And we're going to cross product this. And we have 1 multiplied by x is equal to 4 multiplied by 7. So x is equal to 28. So 7 months equal to 28 weeks. How many decades are there in 52 weeks? In 468 weeks. How many decades are there in 468 weeks? So one thing we know for sure is that 52 weeks equal to 1 year, and 10 years equal to 1 decade. So what that means to us is that 520 weeks make 1 decade. So let's go ahead and deal with this. So we need decade to weeks is 520 to 1, which is equal to, actually that is wrong. So we have, in 1 decade we have 520 weeks. So this is going to give us x to 468. Now let's create our relationship here, fractional relationship. 1/520 equal to x over 468. So cross product, we have 520 multiplied by x is equal to 468 multiplied by 1. Now we divide both sides by 520. And we can cross this out. So this right here, we can start by reducing. This is going to be equal to 234 divided by 260. We go further again. We have 117 divided by 130, and then now we can divide by 13. This is 9/10. Or you can also say this is 0.9. So therefore, 468 weeks is equal to 0.9 decades. This is actually going from a smaller to a larger. How many months are there in 16 years? How many months are there in 16 years? So 12 months make up 1 year. So we want to find out month to year ratio. Month to year, we have 12:1. This is going to give us x to 16. Now we create our fractional relationship, and next step is we do a cross product over here, and so we have 1 multiplied by x is 12 multiplied by 16. So let's do that right here. 12 multiplied by 16. 2 times 6 is 12. You write 2, you bring 1 up here. 1 times 6, 6 plus 1, we have 7. Now we put a 0 here. 2 multiplied by 1, we have 2. 1 multiplied by 1, we have 1. And then we sum this up, we have 2, 9, 1. So x is equal to 192. So therefore, 16 years is equal to 192 months.